Hello, my name is Lauren Groblewski. I am a former UGA student athlete. I was on the swim team from 2004 to 2008, and then I graduated in 2009 from Grady with a degree in public relations. Okay, so what am I up to now? I actually live and work in London, England, which is a little bit crazy considering I spent most of my life in South Carolina, where I'm from, and then in Georgia, where I went to school. I've been here for 6 years now, and it's an incredible place. It has a lot to offer in the way of travel and many different types of people. I get to see so many different cultures all come together in one spot, which is really cool. I'm currently working for a company called Dennis Publishing. They create some lifestyle, motoring, tech, and fitness brands, and they publish things like digital magazines and print magazines, and they also have quite a wide website offering. So my division is actually called Agnostic, and we are sort of an in-house digital production agency for interactive ad creatives. And it's been a very, very interesting process so far. It's nothing that I ever thought I would be doing when I was in school, or kind of a career path that I thought I saw myself down. But one step has led to another, and it just means that I get to meet some really interesting people, some amazing sort of figures in the media industry over here, and I also get to work with some really cool brands. We've done stuff with Samsung, with Mercedes, with Expedia, Sony Music, so a wide range of brands, and it's just quite nice to be able to see my vision for the ad creatives that we're putting together for them sort of come to life, and my input is taken into account, and everybody sort of works together to get the result that we need to get, and just to make something really cool. So for me, being a student athlete at UGA was absolutely one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I really enjoyed my time there. I got so much out of having that amazing team atmosphere with the people that I was training with, the coaching staff. It was an amazing support system there, as well as being able to go to school and get a really good education. And at the same time, building friendships that have lasted, in a lifetime, have lasted up until now. So I think there's a lot that UGA does as for the student athletes that really prepares them in the career world too. A lot of it translates so easily. One of the biggest things for me is being able to set goals and having that motivation and determination to see a goal, know what you want to achieve out of, the next long-term space in your life or short-term space, and being able to execute that goal by taking the little steps every single day that you need to do to get there. Not everybody loves to go to practice every single day, but you understand why you're there. You're there so that at the end of the season, you are in peak shape, mentally, physically, and emotionally even, to handle whatever big competition waits for you then. Another thing that I think is just super useful is having that little bit of competitive edge. It sounds silly, but the business world is obviously very competitive, and knowing that you've got a little bit of that internal fire to really push you through those difficult situations, and having that drive to succeed. There's a lot of people who don't really have those same range of emotions and wouldn't really put them into use. But I think as an elite level athlete, which UGA trains to a very high level and high standards, you have that tiny extra bit of oomph that will help push you through, and help you win that business for the next pitch, or will help you, will make you know why you need to stay late one night to finish off a project, or that type of thing. And then finally, I would say it's probably something that you hear often, but just being able to manage your time. The amount of training and schoolwork and even social events that I had when I was at Georgia is quite similar to the amount of stuff that I have going on in my life now. And it's really important to be able to get that balance of not doing too much in one area, and being able to fit everything in that you feel like you need to get in your life. Everybody's life's very busy, but I think coming from a background where you are used to training up to 25, 30 hours a week even, as well as going to school full time and finding time to make time for social things or just relaxing and having your own time to yourself. That's really, it translates a lot into the type of time constraints that you'll have when you start your career. So it's something to keep in mind, that obviously setting really good goals is important, being quite competitive, and not letting that side of yourself get too far out of touch when you finish training or when you retire from being, a student athlete. And then also, being able to manage your time well and know how to strike that balance and how to make sure that you get enough in for what needs to be done. I know I've already talked about how much I loved being a student athlete at Georgia and how much I got out of it. But as one of the things that I kind of wanted to hand over as some advice for the next generation of student athletes is to really try and make friends with non-student athletes. It may sound a little bit unusual, but there is reasoning behind it. I mean, when you're a student athlete at Georgia, the support network is amazing. You've got coaches and trainers and academic advisors and so many people looking after you and making sure that you have everything you can possibly need to succeed in competitions as well as in the classroom. But because of that, you end up being corralled together with other student athletes quite often. And not that that's a bad thing, it's definitely not. Those are the people that you can relate to because they get that you're exhausted at 7 o'clock at night and you still have to go to study hall, or, they understand why you just want to sleep all day on Saturday because you've had a whole competition to go through or something like that. But what I think happens is you can very easily get sort of blinders on about being surrounded by student athletes and not really knowing that many other people outside of that little world. And if you think about it, the student athlete population at Georgia is only a small percentage of the wider population at the school. So it's going to translate well when you go into the workforce that the student athlete population there, or former student athlete population, is very small part of the wider workforce. And I just think it will help you relate to people. I met quite a few people through class projects that have then become good friends with and have helped them get jobs, and they've helped me do interviews and things like that. So you get different perspectives of people. You start to learn different priorities. And I think that can only help you be even more open-minded when you go out into the workforce and you find that not everybody understands why you put yourself through so many hours of training on a weekly basis. So it's kind of nice to get a different perspective and be able to relate to more people. And at the end of the day, it just means that you get to make more friends. My career advice for former student athletes from Georgia is to just completely take advantage of that very prestigious title. I'm talking like absolutely milk it, because you'd be really surprised. It is something that will absolutely set you apart. I've just said that student athletes and former student athletes are a very small percentage of the population. And that just means that you are something really special and you've got a very different angle than probably the majority of people that you're in competition for when interviewing for a job. It shows discipline, it shows dedication, it shows loyalty, it shows hard work. These are all the kind of things that employers want to see for the most part. And being a student athlete has that all wrapped up in a package. You've already done all of those things. You've been that person. You are that person. So really try and play up that angle. I mean, obviously it shouldn't be the only thing that you talk about. You need to have certain skills, but you'd be surprised how much those type of characteristics will potentially replace, one set of skills that you may not have had time to learn because you were too busy competing internationally, or you were spent your whole summers doing stuff that other students who had the summers off would never have even dreamed of. So yeah, my advice is really try and play up that angle. Even now, the highlight of my career was competing in Olympic trials in 2008, and I definitely wasn't anywhere near landing the team. It was more of a big finale. This is how I'm going to finish my swimming career. But I've put that on my resume, and it always gets attention, and I'm always surprised by how impressed people are by it. So it's one of those things that, if you're able to say that, you're able to say that you've been a student athlete for 4 years at an elite level of training with, national and international competitions happening pretty much constantly throughout the time that you were also studying and getting your degree. You'll get some really impressive looks, and it's obviously something that you're passionate about. It's something that you know very well how to talk about. So it's something easy in the interview process for you to bring up and help translate into landing you that next job. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys enjoyed the advice that I had to give. Please feel free to kind of reach out to me on social media or on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. I'm all over the place. More than happy to give you guys some more some more specific career advice about being a student athlete, and also just about living abroad and how that worked for me and maybe how it could work for you. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great day, and go Dogs!